You're listening to Carrie Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Carrie Lutz. Well, person you're about to hear from, the Watchdog on Wall Street, watchdogonwallstreet.com. Chris Markowski got some choice criticism for the Fed. In your words, Chris, when was the last time the Fed did something right? They're certainly not now, but what are they really doing wrong here?
Well, again, everybody thinks that this is a bit of a conventional wisdom, and I'm a big believer conventional wisdom is poison, stuff that they've been teaching kids forever in schools, in regards to business cycles. And when you have Fed needs to raise rates and needs to do certain things to tamp down inflation. What the Fed needs to do is needs to get the hell out of the way and stop being the credit card for the federal government, which is really doing all the nonsensical spending. And we've been, cooking along for a very long period of time with ultra low interest rates. This is even before COVID, and all the bond buying that was taking place. And you figure that's like a car that's driving down a highway at 100 miles an hour, and now all of a sudden you slam on the brakes. What do you think was going to happen? It's going to cause whiplash. I mean, these same yahoos, again, you got 400 economists, PhD economists, 99.9% of them have never had a job in the private sector. None of them. So I right off the bat there, I have little to no respect. I said, you people think you understand how the world works when you don't. You've got your models and you got all your nonsense, but your models are wrong. I mean, you told us that this was transitory, and anybody with half a brain knew that it wasn't transitory. If you had just raised rates a little bit last year, laid off on the bond buying, but you didn't, because your friends in Washington, D.C. wanted you to keep buying the bonds because they wanted to keep spending all of this ridiculous amount of money. And now forcing everybody else to deal with the pain of this.
Mm-hmm. So the pain is quite great. What is the solution here?
Well, I mean, I don't, as of yet, it's not that great, simply because unemployment is low. Thank God, there's still, if you need, we're starting to see layoffs. We're starting to see companies cut back, a lot of technology companies, but the ability to find a job is there. You look at the JOLTS report every single week, you got 2 job openings for every person looking for work. Now, do I think that that's going to change? Absolutely, I do. Markets obviously gotten, crunched this year because of this, and a myriad of other things as well. But again, the concept out there that they keep trying to push that the Fed is going to be able to solve this. There's more than one way of doing something. Sure, the Fed can knock down inflation by putting the economy into a recession and putting people out of work, but we don't have to do that. I mean, we've done this stuff to ourselves because we decided to go from drill, baby, drill to solar panels and windmills and all of this pie in the sky stuff that's not ready for prime time yet. I don't have any problem, with alternative energy sources. We're not there yet. The technology is just not there. We don't have enough lithium. We don't have a lot of things as far as that's concerned. So a lot of this inflation is self-inflicted. And quite frankly, the Federal Reserve's not going to pump any more oil out of the ground or natural gas out of the ground to help in that aspect.
Okay. So where are we heading here? What's your take?
As far as what the economy, the markets?
The economy, the markets, and employment. Can they keep this thing going, or what?
Well, they keep saying, well, we're not in a recession. Well, if you actually look at the textbook definition of a recession, 2 quarters of negative economic growth, we're in one. I mean, okay, the NBER didn't call it yet in Cambridge. I mean, it took the NBER over a year to call the Great Recession. Over a year, they actually called that. So again, we're parsing words here. Whether or not we're in a recession, we're seeing slowing economic activity on many fronts. There's no doubt about that. Do I think that the unemployment rate is going to go up? Sure. Yeah, I do. I think you're going to continue to see a lot of companies did a lot of over hiring and building out. And I think you're going to see them retrace to some degree. But again, there's still the ability to go out there and find a job, which was actually a good thing. As far as the markets are concerned, I've never been very good at timing markets. And quite frankly, nobody in the history of the planet's been very good at it. I'm good at picking really good companies to portfolios, high quality stuff, companies that pay dividends, and doesn't matter what type of storm or recession or whatever you hit. If you do that, you're going to come out fine on the other side.
All right. So, assuming we do this, what is the best course ahead for an investor? What do you do?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Goldterra Resource Corp is a gold exploration company that has assembled a highly prospective district-scale land position on the doorstep of the city of Yellowknife in Canada's Northwest Territories. Goldterra is currently focused on expanding and delineating gold resources at the company's Yellowknife City Gold Project, with a goal of discovering over 5 million ounces. With ready access to infrastructure and multiple high-grade gold discoveries, Goldterra is on track to re-establishing Yellowknife as one of the premier gold mining districts in Canada. Goldterra trades as YGT in Toronto and YGTFF on the OTC. For more information, go to goldterracorp.com. That's goldterracorp.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network. The information you need to thrive now more than ever.
Well, again, every investor is different. I own a registered investment advisory, so each and every client, I don't run a hedge fund where I've got one strategy and that's what I'm dealing with. It can move in and out of things. Every client is different and unique, and obviously, you've got clients that had larger cash positions or cash equivalent positions going into this simply because they needed to have access to that money. Or there are plenty of clients that are, in their 50s and their 60s, not planning on retirement. They've got a long-term time frame where they just add here, and you dollar cost average every single month. You put money away like you're supposed to, own high quality. Right. A lot of great companies that have come down in price with dividends. Those dividends are going to pay off as far as compounding is concerned over time. So there's a lot you can take advantage of.
Okay. So are there deals out there now, or do you just sit back and wait?
Well, again, I've never sat back. I've never done that. I never said, like I said, I'm not going to try to guess where the bottom is, nor guess where the top is. If markets are going like gangbusters and up, that's when I tend to get more nervous. And that's where you need to be trimming and snipping portfolios and reallocating assets into areas that weren't doing as well. For example, last year, a lot of movement from some of our technology because it had done so well in certain areas and moving it to some of the energy, which was beaten down. That's changed. Energy did well for a while, but again, that's come down to some degree. But again, it's all focusing on quality, and it's always focusing on companies that pay you to own them. I love dividend-paying companies, and I love the compounding that goes along with that.
Okay. And what about precious metals here, Chris? Are we looking at a precious metals position?
I'm more with commodities. I have no problem with commodities, but it's more basket. I don't pick one or two. There's a lot of different things. Uranium has done extraordinarily well for me. And to me, that's a hell of a lot more useful metal than gold or silver would be in many aspects, simply because of the way you can use it. Lithium, a lot of rare earth minerals. You need to make these, without a doubt, a part of your portfolio. It's very important. There's ways you can do it through miners, but also there's various different ETFs that allow you to get involved with that too.
Okay, so we like that. I guess what else? Is inflation going to continue, or are they going to get control of it by crashing the economy? That's really what everybody wants to know.
Well, I think I've been talking about this for a long time. They've always given us this line that, that we've had little inflation out there. And listen, for things that you have to live on, I kind of look at baskets of things from what you're paying for tolls to what you're paying for public transportation, what you're paying for coffee, food, energy. All of these things, outside of gasoline for a while and oil that had come down, all of these things have consistently gone up at a ridiculous rate. Food inflation has been high for a long period of time. And guess what? We all need to eat. It's great when they say, oh, look, there's no inflation. The price of a television, look at how cheap it is. And look at how inexpensive computers are. Yeah, you can't eat those things, though. Okay, you're going to buy them every now and then. You can't eat them. I look into with inflation in regards to things that you need to survive on, and those things have been going up for a long period of time. If you look right now, you take a look at many commodities across the board. They're already starting to come down. Lumber prices have now gotten lower than they were pre-COVID. I mean, that used to be a joke last year, a meme. You have out there a picture of a lumber truck going by, and look, there's a multimillionaire right there because the price of lumber went through the roof. All of these things are coming down. It's starting to see used car prices come down as well. So yeah, it's going to start trickling into other areas of the economy. As far as food is concerned, again, I think that has a lot to do with ridiculous government regulations and how the FDA works and how we go about, the way we handle food here in this country, that we force this upon ourselves.
All right. So you optimistic about the future or pessimistic here?
Oh, I'm, I've got, 3 kids. I can't afford not to be optimistic. I want my kids to have the same opportunities in life that I, had. Again, you see a lot of things that kind of, as you get older, you're kind of like, that would have never happened a while ago. And I think the pendulum went in one direction for a period of time. And I do think it's starting to swing back in the opposite direction. I think you're seeing that around the globe as well. Okay.
So the pendulum is going to swing. The key is not to be in the path of the pendulum when it does swing, right?
Well, we go to, unfortunately, into extremes in this country. And I think we went off the deep end, far left, all the woke nonsense and all this crap. And, I think we've got a lot of work that we have to do. I mean, I use New York City as an example. I live on Long Island, and I used to go into the city all the time with my wife to eat. I won't go in there. It's a disaster. I lived in the city for 10 years, but I moved there when Giuliani took over. And, the 70s were a disaster for New York City, but somebody came in and cleaned it up. There's many places in this country that need to be cleaned up. And that's why we need that pendulum to swing.
Yeah, they need a big cleanup crew in New York City for sure. So, all right. Hey, Chris, people want to connect with you, want to talk to you, send you texts and stuff, tweets. Where's the best place to find you these days?
Best way to get a hold of me is through my website at watchdogonwallstreet.com. And, my podcast you can sign up for, my radio show, and all the things that I do and am doing. You can find out there and get in contact with me as well.
All right. Excellent. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Got a question for Chris? Shoot us an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. And make sure you go over to the website, financialsurvivalnetwork.com, and sign up for your free newsletter. Send us any comments you like. Chris, great talking to you, catching up. You be well.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.